Hey, what's up, guys? It's Cody again. With the stock pick and recap segment. Before I start this video, I should apologize for how my voice sounds. I just got a bunch of teeth pulled, and um, because I'm getting implants and all that. So, basically, this is kind of how I might be sounding for the next few days, and or if I even do these every day. But basically, I'm gonna start off first by going over a recap. What we talked about in the last two videos. As you can see, the S&P 500, we hit an all-time high of 3192, and the market just screamed higher. I talked about that. Basically having a lot of long bias into these last few days. I'm not as optimistic anymore. I still think the market could go higher, but I'm not as bullish as some of the, FOMO style melt up camp people. But like I have also said, I don't really like to trade the index, but I'll just go over the things that I want to recap, like Alibaba. Um, Alibaba, it it's had a nice run. I talked about this one, or I've been in it longer, but I've talked about it around 204 and a half to 205. I don't remember the exact close, but but yeah, and then now here we are. We're at 208.2. I think basically the next stop for this could be 211 and a half, and if we can get over that, then we could probably see 220. Pretty much have a long-term breakout here, and let me see if I can. Uh, let's see. Oh, okay, here we go, and so I'll go to 1 week. As you can see, we're getting close to the high. I think we're gonna break out, over it and start heading towards 220. Um, I talked about this being a nice rounded base formation, a lot of tension being in the chart. Another one I'm talking about is PayPal, and PayPal is a it's one that I was talking about, and I've done really well with this one. I've talked about being in the January 3rd position, and that position is up at least 200% by now. It would have been a lot more on a shorter time period, but talked about PayPal right here at this close. I actually bought into it somewhere in the middle of this day, and you can go back and check my other videos. And I was saying it's heading towards 111. We kind of went up to about 109.8. This little pullback's probably a good dip buy opportunity. Especially if it pulled back a little more. I'd like that. And so yeah, PayPal's one I've done really really well with. And if many of you guys followed, which I doubt it, like I said, I don't get a whole lot of views yet. And but if any of you guys followed it, you obviously made some good money with this one. Qualcomm was one I talked about. Qualcomm was I talked about these on let's see, Qualcomm I talked about, so on the 12th, last Thursday on December 12th, I was talking about these, and today is December 17th, Tuesday, and talked about Qualcomm being vulnerable for a pullback, and towards 85, and basically, we've kind of just stagnated here. We went a little higher, went a little lower. I still do call spreads here, but I would, more get aggressive, maybe towards 86 or 85. And I like, January monthlies, at least out to January 15th or farther. Another one I talked about was Home Depot. I didn't buy this one, but obviously it had a nice run. I had a bullish bias here, but I wanted a pullback towards like 208, and we didn't get that. We spiked straight up. So the fact that we spiked up and we didn't go to 208 is actually a very strong signal that this thing could head, towards 221 to 230. Somewhere in that range. Based on the fact it didn't pull the 208, I have a feeling it will go to 230, maybe 229. And and that was my first video on the 12th, and then I did another one on the 13th on the Friday, or it was like Saturday, like early in the morning, but it was about Friday in the close. Talked about Adobe. On Adobe, we closed here on the 13th, at this close of the candle, and I talked about it going to like 330 or so, and we shot up to 325 pretty fast. I think it's gonna still keep going up to about 328 to 330 in a pretty fast manner. So you can do shorter term positions on this one, and we could actually make a parabolic move. And for you, those of you that don't know what parabolic means, it just means like a vertical move, basically like this has been. And so you can go up to about 338 with that, and then so that one was a really nice trade for me as well. If any of you guys followed it, made some good money there. And then AbbVie, which is one I talked about buying January options, because I didn't expect it to happen this fast. But I talked about AbbVie at this close on the 13th, and we went 87.3, and we already shot up over 90. Um, even the January monthly options, January 15th, they already doubled in value. From there, $1 to $2 really fast, and ultimately, I think we can head towards 93. We break out over this in a nice way. I think we can head towards um, 93. I talked about this being a nice bull flag pattern. Basically a heavy ramp up and not giving a whole lot back, and then we break higher for more upside. And then I talked about Hasbro only liking this one towards a pullback towards 101. I also mentioned 102 a little, and we had a low of about 101.8. So a little off on that, but I mean, if we kind of chopped a little and then maybe pulled into the 102 again, or maybe 101, I'd look to get long. And basically, I'd be looking for a target of probably about 106 to maybe 109, somewhere in that range. Basically as far as the next objective over target, I'm not sure if this whole gap's gonna fill. I like to assess these things, a little bit at a time. That's why I'm kind of recapping everything, and so that's that. And so now I'll get into some new things I've been in. Obviously you want to simultaneously take profits when you have them. Throughout these things, you can hold on positions or you can roll them or hedge them. I mean, you always have to manage them when you're doing options. Which basically that's my primary form of trading, and really it's my only form of trading. I don't trade the stock a whole lot. I mean, sometimes I will, but one I like for a long right here is Square, and I even like it right here. Um, Basically, it's a similar thing to Hasbro. It's kind of like a flag. Some people say that's a falling wedge and it looks bearish, or the fact that if you drew a trend line from here to here, a broken trend reversed, and some people don't like that. But I'm not really like that so much. But I think we can break back over this trend line, and I think that Square, has upside potential to about 71 to 74, somewhere in this range, and I think we can get up there. Within, I'd buy options at least 2 or 3 weeks out for this, because we could chop a little or maybe even dip a little farther. That would be welcome for me, to maybe add a little bit into it. You always want to simultaneously get in and out. You basically want to know the trend. Obviously, or I'm not positive, but from my analysis, the trend's up, and so you want to take advantage of the dip buying opportunities, and maybe even play the momentum. But what would be a good tell for this one if the market was red and this one stayed green? I would definitely be really bullish on this one. I already am, but that would make me even more bullish. Um, and then we got Boeing. This is one I feel like everybody's buying. A lot of people or not buying, but they're all, I don't know, they're just, I feel like the sentiment's not, right for this one. I kind of feel like this one's actually going to keep dropping towards like 315 to 310. Even though we kind of, broke the low and then we reversed real quick, which is a good signal. But I don't know. I think I would think if we could, I wouldn't. I mean, I would short like a call spread here, and then if we made it up to anywhere from 333 to 337, somewhere in this range, I would I would definitely look to short some more. Options that are at least 2 to 3 weeks out. So I like this one for a short on Boeing. It's always had a lot of bad titles coming out, and the bad titles always move the stock. When bad news moves stocks down, that's usually a bearish signal. Another thing is I'm not sure what we have a lot of economic things going on this week. I'm not, exactly positive every single event, but is the GLD, which is just the ETF for gold. I think you could have some exposure here throughout the week, or maybe even throughout till sometime mid-January. I think we could probably head towards 142. I don't know if we spike up real quick, or if we kind of head there. I think this is a good type of hedge. Because I am a little worried about the market, where it's at now. But at the same time, I would never short just the pure market. But this could be a good play for those of you. I like this little double bottom here, and I think if you drew a trend line here, we're gonna pretty much bust through it. I don't think very fast. I mean, maybe we might, but I would play January calls on this, like at least January 15th. Um, you can buy the 141, 142 call spread for 25 cents, and you can make $1, on each one of those. So you could, make risk one to make four. So it's real good risk reward on that. January 15th all the way out till here, so you got plenty of time for it to trend up. I mean, like I said, we could have a spike up, but I kind of think it might mildly go up. Not positive though. I like the way these candles look and everything. I like a lot about it, and I like the fact that there's economic events coming up. So this could be a good way to hedge, because I do feel like the S&P did get a little more frothy. So I'm, not as bullish as I was before. But yeah. So basically that's it. Long square, short Boeing, and long GLD. You want to be mindful of the spots that you pick on these things. Even with the recap names that I talked about, even if I say it has continued upside, I've taken off risk, I've hedged, I've rolled, I've done all kinds of different strategies. I'm obviously not going to get into all that type of stuff, just for YouTube. But it's one of those things, if I can kind of tell you guys where the trend is and you guys understand deviations and levels and stuff like that, you can start picking your spots on where to buy, based on, the trends that I see. And hopefully this helps you guys. If you guys, enjoy this stuff, let me know. Um, and yeah, so I'm trying to think. But like I said, I recapped Baba, PayPal, Qualcomm, Home Depot, Adobe, AbbVie, and Hasbro, and I'll pretty sure I'll have more for you guys. I can't, I still can't fully decide if I'm gonna do these for like the long term. Maybe over time, I'll start doing. If you guys have I mean, that's something you could actually do right now. If you have anything that you might want me to look at, like a specific stock. Like, I'm not like a penny stock type guy. I basically trade the big hot names, the Apples and the Microsoft, Adobe, Square, Boeing. I like all the big names. But if you have some thoughts on something, or you want me to look at something, or maybe kind of think where something's going, let me know. And like I said, I apologize for my voice. It'll probably be like this for at least the next few days, and hopefully it'll all blow over. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.